Welcome to the $1 Million Listening Podcast. In this show, we aim to help people grow in all areas of life with the focus of getting to the next level. I'm your host, Mari Wines, realtor, marketing guru, real estate coach, and co-owner of E3 Realty. All right, you have something everyone needs, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, Chris Pimentel.
Thank you.
With State Farm.
Yes.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about your business, how long you've been doing it, and maybe what's your favorite thing about helping people find insurance plans?
Yeah. First of all, happy to be here. I love what E3 does. I love what you guys represent. So thank you for having me. I've been a State Farm agent for 7 years now. Obviously specializing in home, auto, life insurance. I think what is probably the most amazing thing about this business is just imagine something terrible happening, like a fire, and being able to help someone through that. That's a big deal. Most of us have never experienced anything like that. I had not experienced that before I was an agent. And it's a scary thing. And to be able to walk people through that, guide them through it, and help them recover, that's probably my favorite thing. It doesn't happen often. Most of my job's pretty trivial, but when it does, to be able to be a part of that is awesome.
Yeah, that sounds rewarding.
Yeah.
So as a business owner, you have a lot of choices and you chose State Farm. Is there a reason why you went with State Farm above all the other options?
Absolutely. So when you get your insurance licenses, you get, a lot of headhunters and they're recruiting you. Hey, come work here, come work there. So I had options, and what I didn't know anything about insurance. I'm not from insurance. I knew just as much as the average person. I had insurance, but to be honest, I didn't even know what it covered. So I started looking at all the different companies. Why would you go with one over the other? What's the track record? Why does one cost more or less? And State Farm's king of the mountain. They're king of the mountain in terms of the amount of clients they have, but more importantly, in terms of their service and claims. We're number one in all of those things. So if I was going to ask friends and family to go with me, have me be their agent, sign up with me, I didn't want it to be with somebody that when there was a problem, they were getting screwed or it wasn't working out very well. So I wanted to be with the best. And that is pretty much why I went with State Farm.
That's good to know. So we obviously deal with homeowners insurance more than anything else here. That is why we talk to you so much.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So thank you for that. What is something a lot of people don't know about homeowners insurance or don't do? Like in my experience, my clients will sign up for homeowners insurance because it's required by their loan officer to close on a house, and then they never look at it again.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't even do the best research. Like they're just so excited that they're buying a house, and it's just one of the things on the checklist that they need to get into the lender.
Yep.
And they don't even do that much research. And so I guide them as much as I can or whatever. But what is something that people should do more often so that they're set up with the best homeowners insurance?
Yeah. Exactly what you said. Sometimes they'll call me and they'll go, well, whatever, we just need to get this in. So whatever you want to give us. And I'm like, So what I try to do, or what I would first say, what most people don't know about homeowners insurance, there's a difference between warranty and insurance, right? So any time you have anything, a car, a home, you have to maintenance it, right? If you have a car, you have to get oil changes, you change tires. It's the same for your home. Things like pipes, electrical, your roof, your gutters, your faucets in your bathroom, these things can all fail, right? So you want to maintenance your home. And insurance is sudden and incidental. Those are my two favorite words. If it happened suddenly and it happened incidentally, it's probably going to be covered. If it's something that's been there for a really long time, that's not usually covered. And that surprises people. So when they sign up with me, what I first do when they buy a home, E3 sends someone my way and we get them taken care of. What I do is set up a time after the home closes, after they've had time to move in, after they've had time to get settled, and we go over the policy in detail because most people have no idea what their policy covers, the limitations or the inclusions. Most people don't know what liability covers, or they don't even know what their deductible is or how it works, or that earthquake isn't covered, or flood isn't covered. People are like, wait, what? We're in California. What do you mean earthquake's not covered? So I set up a time to go over that with them in detail, a good 20, 25-minute conversation to say, hey, I want you to understand everything about this, and we can make the changes you need now. So if at claim time, we can just tell you yes, not no to anything that you would want to get taken care of.
That is so important, but I've never heard of anyone else doing that before.
Yeah, it's a lost art, right? We live in a instant age, right? I mean, you can sign up for a policy online. You don't even need an agent, right? So the power of an agent, agents are advocates for the clients. Now, of course, I'm partnered with State Farm, but I'm an independent contractor. I'm not employed by State Farm, and that's a difference. So my loyalties to the client. Make sure the client gets what we promised they would. Make sure the client's taken care of. That's not the same if you go onto an online insurance or you just call an 800 number and sign up. So I think that's a big difference in having an agent and I'm personal. You can walk into this office. When you call, you can talk to me. You're not going to have to talk to 7 different people. If you want to talk to me, hey, can I talk to Chris? I have a problem. And I always tell my office, I train my office, the work really begins when someone has a problem. Like the rest of it's just pretty basic admin stuff. But when someone has a problem, that's when we go to work.
And what are some examples of problems that of people have had where it maybe could have benefited them to have better coverage or different coverage or?
Yeah. So most of the time, I would say in terms of coverage itself, because most people don't understand their coverage, sometimes people won't even file a claim because they don't realize that there's coverage involved in that. And also they have no idea how it works. So an example would be if you have a claim, let's say your home has damage and it's going to cost $100,000 and you have a deductible of $5,000. You don't have to come up with that deductible first. In other words, we don't say, well, once you give us $5,000, we'll pay you out for the claim. No, it's the opposite. We actually look at the damages, $100,000 in this case. Your deductible's $5,000, and we cut you a check for $95,000. So things like that people aren't aware of. They don't know how it works, right? Yes.
I didn't even know that.
No, yeah. That's very common.
But that's also the benefit of having an agent.
Yes. Yeah, we go over that. Most of the time, like some problems or the benefit of myself, why I tell people I'm happy to have you as a client, because most of the time with a claim, what I've found in my experience, the left hand isn't talking to the right hand. So there might be a situation where we're waiting on a contractor to submit something to us and the client hasn't heard anything. So they call me and they go, yeah, nobody's calling me and it's been 3 weeks and I don't know what's going on and my house is all messed up. So that's when we spring into action, and 9 times out of 10, it's just communication, getting this person to talk to that person, and the problem's solved. So that is the power of an agent, somebody to lean on when it doesn't go well. It could even be, I'll give you a real example. We had a client that was driving late at night. They hit something on the road. It was dark, it was foggy. It messed up their tire and some of their suspension. And they filed a claim, and State Farm found them at fault. In other words, they did their investigation and said, well, we think you could have avoided this. So the client calls me and they're like, it was late, it was foggy. And I said, okay, well, do me a favor. Can you go back to that spot? Can you take a picture tonight and send it to me? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And then I asked him to give me a detailed list of the events, and I submitted that for reconsideration, and it got overturned. So now we didn't find that person at fault. We covered the damages and nothing happened to their rate. So that also is a giant difference of having someone to lean on versus an 800 number.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then as far as having more coverage, like an example I can think of, like during COVID, everybody remodeled their homes. So they had all these workers working in their homes. And I know a lot of people have no idea if their insurance even covers people getting hurt at their home or things like that. So I always suggest that people reevaluate before any huge change.
Yes.
Reevaluate your homeowner's insurance to make sure you're covered.
Right. Or at least call, right?
Yeah.
At least call and find out, is there something I need to do here? Because if somebody's adding on to their home, what we do is we write the home for the amount it would be when the job is complete. And that way there, if something happens while the job is while the construction workers are in there, we're going to give you the dollar amount for the completion of the job, not for what it was before you started the work. So that is a big deal. And people should, if they're not reaching out and they're just thinking, oh, it'll all be okay, that sometimes can cause some problems. Yeah, we get those
Or like
calls.
personal items. Like at one point in my life, I was absolutely ridiculous and bought really expensive shoes and purses and all these things. And then I switched to a very minimalistic lifestyle and sold those. And I kind of have like one pair of favorite shoes or one bag, that whatever it is. But I called my homeowners insurance because for my personal items, I had like this crazy number and it was all for my personal belongings.
Yeah.
And so I lowered that because I was like, I have my laptop and my ring.
Yes.
Now.
You're like, I don't care about anything else.
They can have a TV.
Yeah. And those are options, right? And,
yeah.
And when you talk to clients, I usually try to re-meet with clients every 2 to 3 years on homeowners specifically. Because a lot can change in 3 years. Like you said, they can remodel a kitchen or they can add on a bedroom, or maybe their kids moved out and they don't need as much liability insurance because they have less liability. Maybe they got a pet, a dog, and they need to know that their liability covers if that dog gets out and bites someone. So we try to touch base every couple of years just to keep up with clients, just to keep up with changes, because most clients, when they do things, we're last. Nobody thinks to call us. No, nobody. It's good you called your homeowner's insurance, because most of the time that's not how it goes. Most of the time we don't ever hear anything until it's too late. Yeah.
I didn't realize that homeowner's insurance covers if your pet bites somebody.
Yeah, not all, right? So State Farm is what we call pet friendly. So yeah, if it's a legal pet, so if you got a tiger in your backyard, then we're probably not going to cover that. But if it's a dog, cat, any legal animal, and that animal hurts someone or gets out and causes damage, 100% covered by liability.
Yeah, there's no education around that.
No, none whatsoever. No, absolutely not.
I'll be telling a lot of people about that.
Yes, that's a good one to tell people about.
So outside of homeowners insurance, car insurance, which we've touched on a little bit, life insurance is something else.
Yeah.
And that's something I think we were talking earlier. Like, people are required to have a homeowner's insurance just to close on a house.
Right.
Or car insurance just to drive a car.
Yeah.
But life insurance is not one of those things. And I heard one of my amazing business partners lately talking about that he signed up for a life insurance plan with you. But do you want to talk a little bit about life insurance? Because I think it's kind of this like unknown territory and a little taboo.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Nobody wants to talk about, getting their angel wings, right? That's a scary topic. But life insurance is the only one that's 100% pays out eventually, right? Like, no matter what, eventually we're all gonna, there's no reset button. So what I try to talk to people about is just make it a part of your insurance portfolio. You have your home, you have your auto, you have your life. It's just a part of what you pay every month. All of us have loved ones and things we need to take care of. And if something happens, you want that there. You want that there for your loved ones. So we try to present it to clients, and we have a lot of conversations. And the best thing to do is to figure out, if something did happen to you, what would you want for your loved ones? What would you want? Would you want them to pay off the house? Would you want them to put the kids through college? Do you just want them to have money to pay for a funeral? What would you want? And then just make that a part of your monthly budget and a part of your insurance portfolio.
Yeah, and I know that there's benefits to getting it sooner than later.
Yes.
That a lot of people don't know about. So they might think like, well, that's going to be a long ways away from me. I'm not going to get to that.
Right.
I don't need to get to that yet.
Right.
But I do remember hearing that there's benefits to sometime getting it sooner. The timing is important.
Yes. So we have a little joke that says every year you get older, your life insurance gets more expensive. So age is a big factor, right? The older we get, the higher the mortality rate. So you want to get it as young as you can. And that, kids life insurance is a touchy subject because we don't want to think about that with our kids. But what I try to advise clients is we don't get them life insurance for that reason. We get them life insurance because as you get older, what if you have a condition that excludes you from life insurance, right? So what if you have some heart condition and no insurance company will insure you? Well, if you get it at a young enough age, they'll still insure you. If you get it in your 20s, no go. They're going to tell you no. So a lot of times it's good to get it at a really young age because then they can have it forever. And it's something you don't have to worry about. And it's never cheaper than it is today, right now. So tomorrow it's going to be more expensive than it was today. So the sooner the better.
So the cost is a lot lower when
absolutely, yeah,
you're younger.
Because you're so healthy, right?
And does that cost stay like that, or does it increase?
There's different ones. So you can get ones where are like term. And term is essentially, think of renting a car, right? I'm going to rent a car for 2 weeks. When the 2 weeks are up, you give the car back and you go on with life. So term life insurance is very similar to that. You have it for a period of time. If something happens to you during that time, then your loved ones are going to get the payout, the death benefit. But if nothing happens to you after 20 or 30 years, we say thank you, shake your hands, and move on. So that money didn't really do anything for you. And then we have whole life, which is permanent. Same price for the rest of your life. Never changes. Yeah. And that one's cool because that one has cash benefits and some other living benefits. You don't just take advantage of it when you pass. You can actually take advantage of it while you're still alive. And that's really cool.
That does sound cool.
Yeah.
So is there, I don't know, I think we were joking about this earlier, like a bundle for car, life,
Yeah. Yes, there is. Absolutely.
At Safe Harbor, that's beneficial to have.
Yes. So anytime someone comes to us with auto insurance, wants us to quote them, we always ask, do you own or rent where you are? Because there's a bundle discount. And same thing with the home. And it's big. It's one of State Farm's largest discounts. So not only is it more beneficial to be insured with the best insurance company for your home and auto and life, there is a bundle discount when you do that. So you save a lot of money that way. And we would do that for, the majority of my clients are multi-line clients where we insure more than one thing for them.
And it's kind of nice for them to have one contact.
One contact.
For anything that goes wrong anytime, anywhere. Yes.
Yeah, in any field, right? And,
yeah.
More recently, we of course do business insurance. We do, we've actually evolved. We partnered with Trupanion for pet insurance. So we have over 150 products to offer clients. So a lot of options there. If you want to know about insurance, we probably have it.
There are probably some pretty careful people. Do you have any clients that are scared of everything and they want coverage for everything?
Oh yeah. So there's the client that loves insurance and believes in it, and there's a client who every time they pay us says, I don't think I should have to pay this crap. So we get it all. But yes, there are clients who fully believe in insurance, and there are clients that didn't believe in it and then something happened. So I have a client in Merced County, and he was redoing his fence, and the fence was down, and he had a neighbor, 92 years old, and she trespassed on his property. In other words, she wasn't invited. She just came rummaging around his backyard. By the way, this is on camera. He had cameras. She ends up slipping on a PVC pipe.
Oh my gosh.
She landed on her face. Ambulance had to come. Good news is she's okay. A couple months later, my client gets a letter from an attorney. And he was scared out of his mind. This attorney wanted lots and lots of money, and he did not know what to do. He was very afraid. So I said, go ahead, send the letter to me. We'll take care of it. And sure enough, I won't say the amount we paid her, but she got paid out, and he didn't pay one dime. So there's somebody who didn't believe in insurance at all, and now will tell everyone in the world how wonderful it is. So it's just how the business works. You could pay for it your whole life and never need it. You could pay for it for one day and file a big claim. So it's a weird job I have because I have to think and prepare you for the worst, but I hope it never happens to you. So it's a weird situation.
And then I think a lot of people are scared, maybe even in that situation, someone wouldn't even want to call their insurance because they're scared of their rate going up, which is very minimal in comparison to what the consequences. But I hear about that all the time, even people getting in a car accident and they're like, I don't want my insurance rate to go up, so I'm going to pay for it. What is your advice to people in those situations, especially if they're working with an agent? Can they call and kind of pick your brain before filing that claim and saying, will this make it go? Is it in my best interest to pay the body shop out of pocket?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I get that phone call once a week, right? Something's happened. What do I do from here? And it 100% is beneficial because there are times that, sure, maybe your rates will go up, but in compared to what you'll pay out of pocket, who cares, right? Thing to know is when your rates go up, it's not permanent. So in other words, it's not going to stay that way for the rest of your life. It's usually the first 3 years are the hardest and then pretty much falls off after that. So you absolutely call your agent. I get people call me just asking questions about something that happened. Is this covered? Should I file a claim? 100%. That's what we're here for. And sometimes it's bad news. Say, unfortunately, this is something that's not going to be covered. It's and then other times I'm like, yeah, absolutely file a claim. Why wouldn't you? Your insurance is there. Your insurance policy has a job to do. So if you needed to do that job, why wouldn't you ask it to? But by having an agent, yeah, we're going to walk you through that. Not only should you, but also how and what to expect. I think that gets a lot of people. They have a claim and they have no idea what's going to happen next, right? So they're just sitting there waiting for a phone call. So what we do is we follow up every single claim in our office. They hear from our office. And State Farm's so good at claims, 9 out of 10 of them, they all go perfectly. And then that 1 out of 10, that's where we get involved and we start making magic happen.
Yeah, and I think in other situations, like you mentioned earlier, sometimes you just go online. You never talk to anybody. You go online, you file your claim, and people are probably scared because it's like a lot of people think that the insurance companies are just after them. They just want to increase their rates. So that's a huge benefit to having a personal relationship with somebody, especially for all fields of your life, like we were talking about, because you can trust them to say like, okay, what would you do if it was you?
Right. And so another thing about State Farm I probably should have mentioned, we're what's called a mutual company. So we're owned by the policyholders. We don't have stockholders or shareholders. We're the only insurance company that's like that. So there's a difference there. Our obligation is to the policyholders, not just when they file claims, but in terms of their premium and what they pay. In fact, during the COVID time, we had collected too much premium, so we started giving it back to the clients in forms of dividends. Most people don't know that. So we're not worried about the bottom line. We're not trying to pay you out as little as we can, right? And that's a big, I think, misunderstanding about the industry is that the insurance doesn't want to pay. Now, they have to monitor. They have to make sure they don't overpay, because if we overpay, then we're being irresponsible with our clients' money, right? We're being irresponsible to our policyholders, which own State Farm. So we have to be diligent. If somebody has a fire in their kitchen, we're not going to remodel their whole house, right? And that sometimes happens, right? People are like, well, since I'm redoing the kitchen, I want to do the floors in the entire house and I want to replace my windows, right? And we can't pay for that. We have to pay for just the damage to get you back to whole, right? But overall, State Farm's the claims experience is phenomenal, and it is very personal. You talk to the same people. You're not calling an 800 number. You have a claim adjuster who's assigned to you. You have an agent to call, and that's a huge deal when somebody has a major catastrophe that they're trying to get fixed.
And is it possible, or is it ever possible, let's just say someone didn't have enough coverage for the fire or for the car or whatever it is, could they call and say, I have this problem, can I add that coverage, or no? Is it at that point, is it too late? If they're like, can I backdate my coverage and pay for it?
Absolutely not. So that's
a good question.
Yes, it's a great question. That unfortunately, if that happened, that's probably what everyone would do. They would keep the lowest coverages, then get into a situation and call us.
That's true.
But what does happen, a lot of the policies, not just State Farm, but in your homeowners especially, has what I like to call a safety net coverage. Ours is called increased dwelling. So your dwelling coverage is the amount of money you have to rebuild your home. Now, just the home, right? And not your personal property or not a place to stay while your home's being built. No. Just money to rebuild the structure, the walls, the floors, the cabinets, the roof, right? So if for some reason that's not enough, maybe we're just in a time where pricing like right now is crazy, right? In that case, if you breach your total amount, then an extra 20% gets kicked in on top of it. So it's like a safety net. And most insurance companies on homeowners has that. So that's not exclusive to State Farm, but that is sort of for this situation that you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That would be an important situation for that to be an option.
Right. Because if you're like, wait a minute, it's going to cost $500,000 to fix my home and I only have $400,000. What do I do? It's okay. You have an extra 20% kicking in. So it'll cover that difference pretty well.
Yeah, I asked that because I just had a friend who he was backing out his huge work van, like going like 1 mile per hour, and someone came and hit him, or that he hit them because they were just flying, and so it was him that backed into them. And one of them saying they're injured, and on that he doesn't have any coverage where he like for other people getting hurt. Basically, he has like the very like low coverage, and I'm like,
can he boost it at that point? No, he cannot. Yeah, no, unfortunately, they don't allow
I
you
mean,
to
I
do
didn't
that.
have any advice for him at the time, so I guess I still don't have any advice for him now.
Well, have him call me.
Yeah.
Even if what I try to do for you guys here a lot of times is even if it's not, even if they're not insured with me, I'd definitely be willing to kind of help people through those situations. So
yeah,
I
know that we've had people reach out.
Yeah, I'm glad to see if we can kind of talk them through.
So if anyone does want to reach out to you to kind of just pick your brain, because obviously you're very down to earth and are willing to divulge the information needed for all these situations, what's the best way for them to contact you? Is it your website, your phone number?
Yeah, so my website is protectedbychris.com, just the 3 words spelled out. The best way is always to call our office, which is 925-750-7507. Easy number to remember. Or if they come visit E3, they can come right down the hallway and there I am in the same building. So.
Very true. Not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
Just
no,
happened.
just happened. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your expertise over here.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. A lot of fun. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
All right.